everyone, welcome back to my show. Once again, I have a really special guest with me today. Her name is Kristen Brown. She recently auditioned for The Voice season 24 and she got onto Team Gwen. By Team Gwen, I mean Gwen Stefani. Hi Kristen, how are you today?
Hi, I'm good. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for taking on the time to be on the show. So please introduce yourself and talk a little bit about your background in music.
So I have grown up loving country music my entire life. My dad is a professional bass fisherman, so country music and bass fishing, practically the same thing. They like to coexist. So I grew up singing my whole life, couldn't kick a ball, so sports were out of the question. But yeah, so I grew up singing. I was in a girl group growing up called Auburn Road, and then I started a solo career in 2021. I started producing all my own music, and I do all my own bookings, produce the music, design the website, do everything in-house. And then one day I decided, you know what? On my 24th birthday, I was going to do an open call for season 24 of NBC's The Voice, and it worked. And then I ended up getting a blind audition, and now I'm on Team Gwen, and that's where we're at.
That's awesome. I actually have auditioned for the pre-TV auditions twice. Did not make it out.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. So that actually kind of brings me to my next question. For people like me and other people who are trying to get onto shows like The Voice, American Idol, and things, what's the process for pre-show auditioning for The Voice?
So right now they actually are doing the pre-show auditions for season 26. You should definitely give it a go.
Yeah,
really all you do. Oh yes! Oh my gosh, I love that. Yeah, you just go onto their website, NBC The Voice, and you can create an artist profile, and there you have the option of either submitting a video or doing a virtual open call. I did the virtual open call. And really all you do, you go up, you sing, I believe it's 90 seconds to intro yourself and sing your song, and you give it your best shot, and then you send it in, and they'll get back to you pretty quickly on whether or not you'll get a call back into the next round. They have a few little preliminary rounds, and then after a little bit, then you find out if you're going to get a blind audition, and then it's off to the races.
So according to you, again, as I said, it's a simple process. You can't just hop onto the website and sign up for a date. What would you say?
Yeah.
What would you say you did that you think could have been the reason you got past all the levels and got into television?
I really think it came down to when I auditioned. I've auditioned before, and it didn't really go the way that I had been hoping it would. And so for this audition, I really just kind of decided, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to be as authentic to me as possible. And so, and every question that I answered and every performance that I gave, it was as if you were at one of my live shows, and it's as if you're just talking with me one-on-one and like a friend would. And so I tried to be as organic to myself as possible, as honest as possible, and I think it resonated with some of the producers, and so it managed to score me a spot on the show.
That's awesome. I think connecting with yourself. You don't want to create your own character. I mean, it's TV, I get that. And so there's also this misbelief that to be on television shows like The Voice, American Idol, you need to have something dramatic happening in your life. Do you think that's true?
I don't. I think it comes down to everybody has a unique story with music. Music itself inspires us on its own, how people write it or how they just perform it, or both. And I think what people love to hear is the human behind it. So whether or not your story is super upbeat and exciting, or you've had some misfortunes in your life, people just want to know who you are and who the person is making the music that they love.
Yeah, I mean, again, if you are enjoying what you're doing, and if you feel like you're authentic and you have your own story, you don't have to try to be someone else. And because I feel like when you fake it, obviously there's fake it till you make it, but in cases like these, faking it can actually get you into trouble.
True, absolutely. Authenticity is key, kind of all around, and then especially in situations like The Voice, and then really any career in the entertainment industry.
Yeah, because honestly, at the end, you want to be getting onto the show or getting onto some kind of big thing through your own efforts, not through some external effort that you forced in there, maybe by saying that you're related to Blake Shelton or say you're related to Tina Turner or something, You actually have to
Yeah,
have,
absolutely.
yeah, and I think just like being proud of who you are and like your by the way, those of you listening to this episode who want to get a gist of what Kristen Brown sang on the show, it was a Carrie Underwood song. So Kristen, could you please like talk a little bit more about the song you sang and what made you decide that song?
Absolutely. So the song that I sang for my blind audition was Blown Away by Carrie Underwood. I have been in love with that song since it came out on the album. That is one album I can tell you every single word, top to bottom. I was obsessed with that record growing up. And I only sang it one other time at this little tiny, I think it was called the Eggplant Festival near my house. And it was my mom in the audience, and that was about it, and the employees. And so there were no baby steps taken. I went from performing it there to performing it on The Voice years later.
Oh wow.
I know there was like no other time I sang it, maybe carpool karaoke here and then. And then I'm a singing teacher, so I have a lot of students who sing it. But I just love that song. I think it's such a fun story. It's a dark story, but it's a really fun story to tell. It's a really fun vocal to sing, and it was one that I really, really, really was hoping that I would get to perform on the show. And then when I found out that would be my blind audition song, I was over the moon.
That's actually really cool. Like, you performed it once and then you performed it next on The Voice. You mentioned
I know, no pressure, right?
that's crazy, like you kind of just jumped from Eggplant Festival to straight to the television. Like, that's crazy.
I know.
So you mentioned like you got the song. So do you not get to choose what song you want to sing for blind auditions?
We do get a little bit of a say. We go and we were given some songs. It's TV, so you have to make sure they have clearance to use certain music. So they listen to us, we listen to them, and at the end of the day, they pick a song that best suits your voice, and it's always it's one that you have a say in as well. So it was really, really cool. They're really wanting to hear who you are as an artist.
I see. So like, would that mean that you technically saw, well, like, they say blind auditions. Do the judges see you beforehand? Or
They don't. The coaches do not see you. The show just has, from your preliminary auditions, they have an idea of what you sound like, and they want to make sure you're walking out with your best foot forward. So they listen to what you want to do, and they go from there.
That's really nice. So you mentioned earlier that like, you performed in like your own band called Urban Road. So how that experience impacted you?
Growing up, music was everything, and I actually formed the group Auburn Road with two of my friends that I met at a singing studio where I actually now work. So we formed this band at about 12 and 13 years old, started writing music, we were performing, we opened for Rascal Flatts, Toby Keith, Morgan Wallen. We opened for a lot of great acts and went on a radio tour, but that ended up being right in the middle of COVID, so the group dissolved. And then my solo career began. But from a group, I learned a lot about harmony. We had great leadership, so I was really paying attention to how production worked, how the business side of it worked, and it really let me learn everything at a really young age. So I kind of had a little bit of an understanding as to what I would need to do moving forward as a solo artist. And I'm really grateful for that. You learn how to work with others, which is super, super important. It really it prepares you for a lot more than you would think.
That's like really nice, like despite like, COVID and everything, I think things happen for a reason. Like your band may have started like, to teach you these things that it helps you in the future, And I think
yeah, absolutely.
Your story is truly inspiring, like, from the Eggplant Festival to The Voice and like performing for Morgan Wallen and big artists like that. It's just crazy how things have gone on for you, like, as an artist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And things like
I'm
that.
very, very lucky.
Yeah. So what's your advice, like, for anyone out there listening to this episode or anyone out of there as well, what's the advice you would want to give?
The advice I'd want to give is, it's as corny as it sounds, hear me out. Truly don't give up. If it's something that you love, push through it. You can make it work. I went from being in a group for 10 years to starting over as a solo artist, and that could have been completely terrifying, but you make it work. If you love it, you just take your next step forward. Tomorrow's a new day. You can do it. And especially for anybody now who's auditioning for The Voice, like I said, I didn't make it through when I had tried before, and so give it another go. You don't lose anything in trying new things. All you do is would gain an amazing experience and opportunity. So just never give up trying if it's what you love.
That's like wonderful advice. I think as often this advice has been told, like, people often overlook it, as you said, like people consider it corny per se, and so it's often like, taken for granted. You think that never give up is just a term you say when you think things are not going well, but in reality it's something that is really important for not just artists and creatives, but also just anyone out there just like, trying to pursue their dreams or pursue their career.
Absolutely. You never know where that pot of gold is. It could be after the next try, it could be after the 10th try, but you never know where it is, but it's there.
Absolutely. Like, I know so many people, not like example for The Voice is I had recently interviewed someone who tried to audition for The Voice in American Idol 8 times in a row, and on the ninth time, they finally got in.
Wow, that's amazing. I love when stuff like that happens because I mean, the perseverance also helps build you as an artist. It helps build you in truly whatever you're doing. It builds your strength, no matter if it's entertainment, if it's a 9 to 5, whatever it is, that endurance through it and the perseverance through it makes it better in the long run.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being on the show with me today. I had so much fun talking to you.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I hope to talk again soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone listening to this episode right now, I'll be putting Kristen's website in the show notes. Feel free to check out her music and do keep like boosting her confidence on The Voice, and hopefully we'll see her in the coming episodes. Thank you so much, everyone, and have a great day.